Welcome to the beautiful Three Springs Valley, here in Hungary.
What's up? What's up? Let's fucking go.
We can continue.
This will be like the hardest race ever, but we're gonna try our best. Let's fucking go.
Min april månad på första Avanza här, men sen också inne på Lysa som ni kan se här uppe. Och mitt namn är Edvin Ekström och det är jag som driver kryptoklubben. Så välkomna ska ni vara, så hoppar vi rakt in på hur Avanza-portföljen har presterat nu för april. Och vi gör som vanligt, vi går in här på Avanza, min ekonomi och sen analys och sen scrollar vi ner hela vägen till min månad.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Green light.
Vi ser att jag har satt in nästan 37 000 kronor och det stämmer den här gången. Jag har ju pratat om i mina andra sådana här månadsuppdateringar att det har varit ett väldigt högt belopp men att jag inte satt in så mycket utan de brukar räkna transaktioner mellan sparkonton och mina investeringssparkonton har jag kommit fram till. För annars är inte den där summan rimlig som har varit före.
So you're currently P4. Nice job on that lap. Okay, mode in please.
Hey, no.
Yeah, confirm.
Och det vet ju mina patrons om, de får ju uppdateringar i realtid när jag köper eller säljer någonting. Så om du är nyfiken på att gå med där så kan du kika in länken ner i beskrivningen där man får också ta del av en VIP-chatt i Discord och mycket annat. Så om du är nyfiken, kika in mina medlemskap som finns på dels Patreon men också på YouTube här. För de som är nyfikna. Men jag har alltså satt in ungefär nästan 37 000 kronor kan man säga. Jag vet inte om det är exakt så mycket, men i alla fall runt 30 000 kronor kan vi säga. Så jag har satt in lite mer än vanligt i och med den här nedgången vi har sett som ni kommer se i grafen snart. Och utveckling har vi negativt 3 000 ungefär. Inte allt för taskigt i och med att började, om jag minns rätt. Sen har vi utdelningar på lite drygt 500 kronor och minus 170 kronor på övrigt. Och om vi jämför med mars månad, för april gick vi plus nästan 35 000 kronor, säger Avanza här. Månaden innan gick vi back 44 000. För då får jag ut lite pengar, alltså mina sparkontopengar som jag pratade om i den videon för att få lite högre ränta. Och sen fick jag ju en väldigt negativ avkastning där i och med det här med handelskrig och Trump som jag pratade om i den videon. Men april har gått lite bättre och framförallt väldigt mycket bättre på insättningssidan där. Som ni ser, månaden började ganska dåligt här. Det var nere, säkert 4-5% om jag får gissa på den här grafen. Men sen slutade det bara på minus 1,5% ungefär. Så inte allt för dåligt, även om det såklart är roligt med blåa siffror så gillar jag nästan röda siffror och nedgångar mer. För då kan man fylla på i sina attraktiva långsiktiga tillgångar för en billig peng, vilket man får en slags rabatt. Så jag gillar när det är nedgång både i kryptomarknaden och på aktiemarknaden. Jag gillar det ju för de förlorar pengar. Men så länge man är långsiktig så är det något positivt att marknaden går ner tycker jag. För den återhämtar sig alltid i längden som vi pratar om. Om man är långsiktig så kommer det komma upp igen. Det kommer fortsätta upp över tid. Det gäller att ha tålamod. För vi vet ju att börsen avkastar 8-10% årligen i genomsnitt då.
Final checks have been carried out by the team.
Men allt bygger ju på det i och med att vi har den här historiska datan att kolla på. Men man vet aldrig för framtiden som allt annat. Det sker konstiga saker runt om i världen och det vore inte så kul om det var samma om igen. Så vi får se optimistisk som allt annat i världen. Det förtjänar ingen till av att tjura vara pessimistisk. För det kan jag säga. Månaden innan var ju betydligt sämre, så där gick vi back 8,5% nästan, 8,35% om man ska vara exakt. Vilket inte var jättekul, men bra tillfälle att plocka upp på de långsiktiga innehaven ser det som. Och där gick vi ju ju dåligt nästan hela månaden i mars månad. April vände vi lite där på slutet. Vilket är trevligt. Och jag gick då bara 1,49%. 1,5% i april. Och avancerande snitt gick bara 0,44%. Så där gick jag lite sämre. Även OMX gick lite bättre med 1,35%. Och sen har vi i USA på minus 0,7. Så de presterade ju snäppet bättre än min portfölj. Ja, men det är ju som sagt, det här är väldigt kort sikt och jag är långsiktig. Så det handlar om att kolla på de här parametrarna på lång sikt och inte zooma in på individuella månader eller veckor. För då kommer man inte få fram någon hållbar data. Även förra månaden gick det sämre för mig, så ja, vi får se. Långsiktigt kanske det är en dålig strategi att köra lite mer aktivt på Avanza med aktier och lite smått och gott annat. Men jag gillar mina investmentbolag och amerikanska innehav och sådär, som jag ändå ser som mina största aktieinnehav. Så jag tror på det långsiktigt, även om det känns lite tråkigt nu såklart när det går sämre än index och de här jämförelsetalen vi har att jämföra med här. Men som sagt, zooma ut så får du helhetsbilden och bli inte alltför fixerad. Det är något jag lärt mig. Jag loggar inte in varje dag längre, utan jag loggar in max en gång i veckan på Avanza till exempel. Annars blir man så jäkla knäpp i skallen om man går runt och loggar in hela tiden och tror att det kommer hända något. För om vi ska vara ärliga så kommer det inte påverka något om du loggar in varje dag, utan det är på lång sikt du blir rik och det är på lång sikt du ser dina pengar växa. Vi ser att Netflix presterade bäst av mina innehav här.
We're okay to push a bit harder if you can.
Och som jag sagt så var det ju bara investmentbolag och amerikanska så här stora bolag brukar jag kalla det. Två stycken. Franska innehav som jag ser lite som investmentbolag, bara mot lyxsektor också. Så det är nästan bara investmentbolag eller typer av investmentbolag brukar jag klassa det som. Netflix har gått väldigt bra. Castellum och Spiltan Invest. Visst, Netflix är inget investmentbolag, men ja, vem har inte Netflix liksom? Och jag kan inte se någon slags framtid där Netflix inte finns kvar om 5-10 år liksom, utan de är ju fortfarande väldigt dominerande i streamingbranschen. Ja, allt pekar på att de kommer behålla den första platsen, för jag tycker deras tjänst är väldigt mycket bättre än de andras just nu. Jag har Netflix än de andra konkurrenterna alla dagar i veckan, just för att de har en så snygg layout, det är så smidigt och de har också ett väldigt bra utbud på serier och filmer. Och jag gillar också deras egna serier, ska sägas. De har ju såna här Netflix-serier som bara finns på Netflix, antar jag då. Som jag har kollat lite på. De är faktiskt väldigt bra. Det är en bra nivå på de serierna. Och sen har vi det som går sämre då. Evolution, Investor och LVMH. Så visst, vissa saker går ju bra och vissa saker går sämre. Men jag tror för maj månad som kommer nu kommer det vara ännu värre för Evolution, för de släppte ju en rapport här som inte var särskilt bra jämfört med förväntningarna. Den var inte jättedålig, men den var ganska dålig i förhållande till de här förväntningarna. Och då sjönk aktien 20% eller vad det var på en dag bara. Så det kan svänga väldigt mycket på aktiemarknaden. Så om du är en orolig person, kör fonder eller fondrobotar som Lysa till exempel. Och skit i allt sånt här. För om man inte har det här iset i magen, eller vad man ska kalla det, lugnet helt enkelt, när det gäller investeringar, då ska man inte hålla på med sådana här typer av innehav som jag pratar om här, aktier eller kryptovalutor. Utan då är det bara fonder och väldigt långsiktigt och brett som gäller. För att inte få de här typen av krascher som Evolution hade här i veckan nu. Jag tror det var den här veckan, det kan ha varit förra nu när jag spelade in den här. Inte helt 100, men jag loggade bara ut den dagen kan vi säga, så jag fixerar mig inte allt för mycket på det. Det blev ganska rött i portföljen där. Men även för april ser vi att Evolution gick ganska dåligt. Så ja, jag tycker det är väldigt roligt att lära mig om det här, och det är därför jag delvis investerar i de här typen av tillgångar också. För att lära mig framför allt, men det är också roligt att tjäna pengar på det. Sen ser vi att den bästa dagen var 10 april, då gick jag plus lite drygt 8 000 kronor. Och den sämsta dagen det var 7 april, nästan 10 000 kronor. Så det går upp och ner, och det gör det i varje månad. Och det gäller att behålla lugnet när börsen går upp och ner och är väldigt volatil, som jag pratar om. Och om man inte har det här modet som krävs, eller lugnet som krävs, kör inte de här typerna av tillgångar som sagt, utan gör inte det misstaget och gå direkt till de här tryggare typer av innehav då, till exempel fonder, fondrobotar, och kör lite på sparkonton, även om man inte ska allt för mycket på sparkonton, men en buffert är alltid bra och lite extra om du är en orolig person. Så plus 34 000 kronor lite drygt. Och då är mycket av det här insättningar ska ju sägas. För vi hade fortfarande en negativ utveckling som vi ser här. På ungefär 3 000 kronor. Så fina insättningar den här månaden och Netflix fortsätter att leverera med mitt absolut bästa innehav om jag får välja ett hittills när det gäller just aktier. Kryptovalutor har vi haft betydligt bättre procentuella ökningar i min portfölj och personligen där 2020-2021. När jag började ju 2021 men efter det så tog det fart rejält där kryptoåret och då hann jag sälja lite till vinst. Men som sagt, om du är nyfiken på vad jag gör just så kan du kika in min Patreon där nere eller mina YouTube-medlemskap. Men nog om det. Det här är då Avanza. Upp nästan 35 000. Bra månad, men som sagt mycket insättningar här. Det är ju bara det där negativa talet i avkastning som man ska ha i åtanke då. Vi går in på Lysa tänker jag. Nog om det här. Fortsätt vara inloggad tack. Här ser vi att det har gått ner även här. Men som ni ser har det också gått dåligt i början här. Vi var nere 10% står det. Kan det stämma? Ja det gör det. Men ha i åtanke att
Happy to use the tyre more now. So let's start closing up that gap.
Tyre temps look good.
Confirm.
So happy to drop a little bit of management. We're ready for you.
Confirm.
Box.
Okay.
Hallå allihopa och välkomna till den här härliga tiden på marknaden. Min förra film handlade om bottensignaler och varför jag tror... Okej. Hold on a second. Dude, oh my gosh, I would have been off. I shouldn't have listened to you guys. I shouldn't have listened to you guys. I'd literally be off. I'd literally be off. Okay, there's the miss. All on.
Mode
Good.
push, please.
Red.
Mode push.
Yes, let it ride. Come on, go. Yes. Yes. We'll get back to 1K. We'll get back to 1K, 65. Come on. Gosh, bro. 1K. Hold on a second. Dude, oh my gosh. I would have been off. I shouldn't have listened to you guys. I'd literally be off. Okay, there's the miss. All in. Good. We're in. Yes.
is out.
P6 in the end there.
Shame how it turned out in the end.
This weekend, we're in Belgium, in the picturesque province of Liège. Halfway through the season, it's too early to call the championship. Can teams make good before the summer break, or will they be hoping for a reset?
Appeared to embody the American dream. He graduated from high school in 1993.
Hello and welcome to the much-anticipated qualifying session.
In 1997, and he was able to do this while working a full-time job. While he was juggling these commitments, he met a young woman named Heather. The couple hit it off, and in 1997, the couple got married. They both worked multiple jobs throughout the years, and with their shared finances, they were able to purchase multiple properties, and they were building quite the prosperous life. By 2006, the couple were able to buy a house in Elma, New York, worth $450,000. But despite having a healthy income from property,
Green
Bernard
lights.
took a job in the retail store Toys R Us in 2007, eventually rising to the role
And
of
radio
regional loss
check.
prevention officer with a salary
Yeah,
of
radio check.
$90,000.
Good for me too.
The couple were doing great. However, beneath this facade, financial turmoil brewed. In 2008, Heather was tragically diagnosed with breast cancer, leading to
You are
mounting
currently
medical
P3.
bills. Between high medical
That's
bills
perfect.
and unchecked spending, they racked up $1.2 million in
Currently
debt.
P6.
As a result, the couple filed for bankruptcy in 2009. They sold most
we
of
will
their
box
properties,
end of
but
this now.
retained their home in Elma
Okay.
and a couple of others. The added financial and emotional pressure must have had a significant strain on their marriage. On the outside, they appeared to be a strong supporting couple. However, occasionally the neighbours reported hearing loud arguments. These escalated several times, with the police responding to domestic disputes on multiple occasions.
Okay, so
As the
P12.
situation escalated further, on the 8th of June 2013, Heather and Bernard were
Mode in,
having an
please, mode in.
extremely volatile argument.
Yeah, confirm.
According to law enforcement, Bernard fired a 9mm handgun through a window on their rear home.
Ladder filling.
According to some sources,
So
he
limiter
apparently
should be
did
on now.
this to pretend that
Okay,
he
just
was
stop at the
someone
marks.
himself. Upon hearing the shot fired, Heather rushed into the room to find him on the floor and called the emergency services, only for Bernard to then roll over. Bernard was testing to see if she still really cared for him. Following this, Heather filed for a domestic violence order against him. It stripped him of the right to ever legally own a firearm again, and the order gave her a layer of protection, but it was only on paper. Now, of course, this legal measure indicates a significant strain on their relationship. However, public available information does not provide details about whether or not Bernard formally separated or divorced after the death. But after the bankruptcy, a family member of Bernard came into a large sum of money, and some of this money was then passed on to Bernard. He had escaped the requirement to settle his debts, and now he had money
Green
again.
light.
But this wasn't enough. Bernard wanted more. Despite his professional role in preventing theft, Bernard exploited his position of power to embezzle over $250,000 $10,000 worth of merchandise from Toys R Us. He would then take this
you are currently
merchandise
P4.
and sell the stolen goods online.
Excellent luck.
These thefts were ongoing and
Mode
systematic,
in, box this lap.
carried out with insider knowledge and access to surveillance systems and the store keys. Bernard thought little of the thieves he caught, not for the crime they committed, but for their incompetency and their inability to steal. He saw himself as superior because he was so effective. In his mind, the petty thieves he once investigated were amateurs, sloppy, predictable. He was different. He was meticulous and invisible, but arrogance can make people reckless, and eventually, it led him somewhere darker than theft. In a situation darker than what he had done to his wife, it was someone innocent, someone who had trusted him, a colleague and a father. Meet Larry Wells. Larry was born in New York in 1977. For the last 7 years, he had been the manager at Toys R Us. Colleagues remember Larry as being a big kid at heart, whose enthusiasm for toys and commitment to fostering a family-like atmosphere made him well-loved
Green
among the
light.
employees. He married his high school sweetheart, Jill, and together they had a daughter named Madison. On the fateful day in which this case takes place, on the 29th of June 2013, his wife was pregnant with their second child. Larry was filled with immense joy and anticipation during this time. Everyone who knew
You
him,
are currently
including his
E4.
colleague, the regional loss prevention officer,
Super lap.
Bernard Gruscher, knew exactly how excited he was for the new addition to his family, making what happened in this case even more tragic and twisted. Embezzling toys, gadgets and teddy bears to sell online was a business for Bernard. But this carried significant risks. He could have been caught in the act, or caught when he was selling the products on eBay, which was his online vendor of choice.
Currently
And
P6.
so he came up with the grand idea that he could cut through the process by stealing directly from the store's safe for cash. After all, he knew everything there was to know about the security in the store. The Toys R Us he worked at operated with strict discipline, and it was a relatively busy store. Larry Wells would arrive a little before 4 a.m. to oversee the stocking of the merchandise.
Well, it's a fantastic
This was
turnout,
a routine
as it always
that
is
Bernard
here in
knew
Belgium,
all too well,
as we prepare
and the
for
29th of
44
June
laps
2013 was
around
like
Spa.
any other day.
Oh,
However,
Dakari.
on this day, unbeknownst to him, a sinister plan was unfolding within the store's walls. At 3:55 a.m., Larry and a couple of other employees received a lorry full of toys and goodies and were preparing to unload them. Larry opened the rear doors of the loading bay.
Well then,
This was to the rear of the
get
building.
ready.
By
It's the
4:30,
Belgian
the
Grand
truck
Prix.
was empty. The warehouse shelves began to be stocked. Bernard knew this procedure.
And it's lights
He knew
out,
that
and
Larry and the
away we go.
employees were preoccupied.
And we need to increase lift and post by 30%.
Head straight for the safe. So that's exactly what he did.
Overtake
He
available.
arrived at Toys R Us
Okay.
at 4:24 a.m., dressed in dark-colored clothing to disguise his image. He was also wearing a mask. CCTV footage captured Bernard stealthily entering the store. He is seen scoping through the store with a calculated precision, suggesting an intimate knowledge of the store's layout.
My tires are massively
He
overheating.
navigated through the aisles to avoid cameras where possible. He was making sure to walk around the outside of the floor, so he knew he had one side covered by the shelves. He moved from aisle to aisle, hobbling to perhaps hide his natural
Might need to pick up the pace a little bit.
The CCTV footage
There's a
also
lot of
caught a
debris.
glimpse of what he was holding in his hands throughout this invasion. He was holding a large knife. At 4:32 a.m., he made it to his desired destination, the manager's office.
We need
He
to do the
swiftly
full management
disabled
on
the
this
security
set.
system by unplugging the
Yep.
DVI unit. What
How are
happens
the
next
conditions?
has been determined to be the most likely chain of events. It is suspected
Let's push and
that
get
he
past it.
proceeded to open the safe and steal the shop's profits and float. This couldn't have been more than $10,000. During this time, another worker turned up at the store. He noticed that the building's side door had been opened before the opening time. He thought that this was strange, but he didn't alert anyone. He just cracked on with his day. This employee didn't notice the signs of a break-in. Bernard did have a key, but to cover his tracks, he made the robbery appear like a forced entry. For Bernard, everything was going to plan. That was until Larry was satisfied that the delivery had been managed, and so he turned around and headed to the manager's office to get a jump start on the day's paperwork. When Larry walked into the manager's room,
Safety
he was
car.
shocked to see a man
Charge the
standing
pack.
there, robbing the
Keep the
safe.
delta positive.
Det är nu det gäller. Det enda som räknas.
Focus on each brake.
Fort, framåt! Nina måste vara tyst.
Jag heter Ellen och jag är 21 år snart och jag har hållit på med e-handel i cirka, jag tror 14 månader.
Upon seeing this man stood in the manager's office, Larry reacted and tried to apprehend and stop the burglar. In doing so, Bernard's 2007 University of Florida Gators cap flew off his head and onto the ground. This is what he was wearing to conceal his identity. Bernard then reached for his
Safety
knife
car is
in a
in
last-ditch
this lap.
effort to fight off Larry. Bernard
Just
struck and
focus
stabbed
on
violently
getting these tyres
and managed to
where you
stab
need them
Larry
for this
in the
restart.
chest, causing severe blood loss. Upon doing this, Bernard likely panicked, and he escaped the way he came in, but leaving behind his bloodstained hat and the money that he came there to steal. At around 5 a.m., another colleague arrived for his shift and went straight to the front door. This colleague radioed Larry to come and let him in, but there was no answer. So, this colleague went round to the rear
No management
and saw
required.
that the side door was opened. He entered the store and punched in his time card. He then started stacking shelves as usual. At this point, there were 4 members of staff inside, plus Larry. But the store was large, and
Start
people had
closing
a
up that gap.
But then, at 45 a.m., the store alarm began to go off. This was deeply confusing, so the members of the team radioed Larry to turn it off. A young
Cool your
female
tyres.
worker was closest to Larry's
Confirm.
manager's office, so she entered to see what was going on. This woman immediately started screaming, and the sound echoed throughout the store.
So
To
happy
this
to
day,
push now.
she says it was the worst thing she had ever
Red
seen
flag.
in her life, and that the image still haunts her every single day. She found Larry positioned in his chair in a pool of his blood. The stab in his chest so
Jag kraschar inte.
First, she thought he had been shot, but the members of the staff assumed
Jag kraschar inte. Alltså snälla, jag kraschar inte ens.
that they might be in the store still, and so all of the staff scrambled out of the store. Emergency services were immediately called. When the police arrived, they created a
It's
perimeter
time to pick up where
Jag
we left
hade
off
inte ens
as the
kunnat
race
krascha.
restarts.
Then the officers entered the room where Larry had been.
And
They
it's
checked
lights
every
out,
signs of
and
life.
away we go.
Despite the blood loss,
We don't
he
think
was
we need
still
any lift and
deeply
coast.
bleeding and
Confirm.
was still alive. Larry was then loaded into an ambulance, and the paramedics did everything they could. But tragically, all hope was lost when he succumbed to the traumatic and savage attack. Larry passed away in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The discovery of Larry's body by a fellow employee prompted an immediate investigation. All 4 workers raised serious concerns for the investigators. One appeared to be nervous and shifty under questioning. Another arrived late with no clear alibi. And the third was the one who discovered the body. And the last and 4th employee refused to answer any questions and acted incredibly strangely throughout the entire process. Although one thing mattered more than any of their behavior.
It's a big one.
Something left
Just watch for
behind
debris
at
on the
scene of
track.
the crime. A 2007 University of Florida cap was found on the floor beside the body. Investigators believed it had been accidentally left behind by the killer during a violent struggle. The 4 employees were still suspects at this point, but one detective had the cap sent in for testing, and it came back with DNA evidence. All 4 members of staff were also tested to see if they matched the DNA in the cap, but none of them did. The police needed some help, and so they brought in the store's loss prevention expert to
Yeah,
review the
confirm.
security footage and
Possible
assess
debris.
how the store security works. This man was, of course, Bernard. The police had their killer, but they didn't know it yet. Bernard was then tasked with assisting the officers in catching the killer. How he kept his cool whilst working side by side with detectives is beyond comprehension. The office cameras had been shut off, but the rest of the store still had some coverage. In the footage, they could see a man wearing a Florida cap moving through the aisles. He avoided every direct angle, only the top of his hat ever showed, so at least they knew for sure it was the killer's hat. The community's anxiety grew, fearing the perpetrator might evade justice. The investigators were stunned. They were fearing that the case was going to go cold, and Bernard believed that he had gotten away with it. And for a time, it did seem that Bernard had gotten away with it, but that was until the detectives began to retrace their own steps to see if they had missed something. That was when they realized that they had not been taken one very important person's DNA, the lost convention manager. But this was likely forgotten, as he was the go-to guy during the investigation, and by all accounts, Bernard was very cooperative with the police. Whenever they needed him, he was always there. A couple of detectives did actually ask for a DNA sample from Bernard, but every single time, he made a reasonable excuse and was eventually forgotten about. On the 14th of August 2013, the police obtained a sample from Bernard, and around 150 days after the murder, on the 16th of October, the DNA results came back. The DNA results confirmed that
Absolutely
was a
brilliant.
match that the Gators had found at
I
the
love
scene
you
of the
all.
crime. The detectives went straight to his
Stopping
home
at the box
and
and going to
confronted
P1
him on
box.
camera, hoping he might slip up or confess. In the footage, it shows Bernard repeatedly claiming that he was innocent, even as they told him the evidence said otherwise. He was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. When being arrested, Bernard nonchalantly said, "Whatever, guys, great. I didn't do it. This is crazy." The community sighed with relief. The Toys R Us killer was finally caught. Bernard was remanded to jail awaiting hearings and eventually the usual trial. However, the trial never came. On the 7th of April 2014, in a turn of events, Bernard was offered a plea deal, to which he accepted. He pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter in the county court. The plea deal reduced the original second-degree murder charge to manslaughter. Now, this of course had some backlash with many members of Larry's family, along with the wider community. They were furious as to the decision to offer a plea deal in the first place, but the prosecutors themselves even acknowledged that it would have been extremely challenging to prove that Bernard had the intent to murder that day. If the case had gone to court, they may have failed in finding him guilty. This way, with a deal, the prosecution maintained a level of control to ensure that he was in prison for a long time. The agreement also spared Larry's family of the emotional toll of a drawn-out trial. As part of the plea, Bernard admitted to stealing over $200,000 worth of toys and cash from his employer, Toys R Us. The plea agreement required the defendant to pay restitution to Toys R Us in the amount of $223,000. But throughout the investigations, it came to light that between July 13, 2013 and October 16 of 2013, he was in possession of a pistol despite being the subject of a restraining order issued by Elmertown Court. He had made false statements to the ATF and had told them that he had gotten rid of his pistol, when in fact he had not. So, at the same time, he pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm by a person subject to a domestic violence order of protection, which carries with it a penalty of 10 years in prison and $250,000 fine. On the 24th of June 2014, the judge sentenced Bernard to the maximum penalty for third-degree murder, 25 years in prison followed by 5 years of probation. During the sentencing, Larry's wife, Jo, the victim's heartbreaking, expressing her emotional experience by her family members. She said, "I lost my husband, my best friend, the man who I loved so much. We were supposed to grow old together. open flaws. Our daughter was spared the time. They did everything together. She just doesn't understand how someone could take her father away from her. This was but a mere glimpse into the devastation that Jill and the family felt. During the sentencing in July of 2014, Bernard chose not to address the court. He offered no public expression of guilt or remorse besides his plea, but his defense attorney did say that he was sorry. In the following years following Larry's death, the community has supported the Wells family. On the anniversary of his passing, hundreds of people gathered to write notes to lost loved ones and released balloons into the sky, symbolizing remembrance and solidarity. Jill, his eldest daughter, and his youngest child, whom Larry never got a chance to meet, have maintained their privacy throughout the entire ordeal. The tragic loss of Larry has left a mark on his family and the wider community. The case of the Toys R Us killer highlights the enduring impact. Community. The case of the Toys R Us killer highlights the enduring impact of such a senseless act of violence.
Green light.
På Lido Casino hittar du populära 80-talsspel som Hotline, Attack on Retro och Neon Stacks. Och just nu får alla...
So these are 5 online service-based business videos for you to make 10 grand a month minimum ASAP so you can quit your 9-to-5 job. If I had enough time, I would genuinely start all of these. I'm not even joking. The reason I'm sharing is simply because I hope just one of you watches this, starts any of them, and scales to 10 grand in the next 90 days, which I think is stupidly doable, no questions asked. Waste no time. I want to get into the first one. It's arguably the most exciting. I know it's a buzzword. AI implementation consultant. It's moving extremely fast. Yes, it's a little bit above its means, but I really do think 90% of businesses have no idea how to integrate it. That's exactly where you come in. It has baked-in demand, right? So the way that I would start this is audit, recommend, implement. Okay, this could be anything for operations to the way that they get leads to funnel forms, marketing, customer service. It doesn't matter. Right? You could provide an AI agent infrastructure, an AI agent build-out, something. I would niche down, target a very specific type of business for sure. Get your ICP nailed down, whether it's real estate, whether it's agencies, law firms, SaaS companies, it doesn't matter. What I would do is a starter package, $2.5 grand to $5K per implementation. So you're building out a system that is going to save 2 employees of theirs who are working 4 hours a day on this. That's a lot of money saved for doing a specific task, right? The scale path here is start with one-to-one service, right? Charge, like I said, project-based. You can build out the rest later. Figure out your SOPs, delegate the implementation to an ops manager or a dev that you know, which you can find, a million ways, or just learn Zapier, learn Make. You can do this as a no-code. I would productize the offer with it done with you, either a group program or some type of toolkit for $1,000, and then you can kind of build your retainer offers for ongoing support, almost like a monthly maintenance. Call it an insurance policy for $1,000, $1,500 a month for you to just fix bugs as they come in, because there's going to be that, right? How I would get clients, this is so simple. This is cold email or DM on LinkedIn, obviously emails, find your ICP, narrow it down, and I would probably email them a before and after AI case study. So I would do like a full AI breakdown on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube to build your inbound leads. This is where your audience is going to be, right? So you want to be in front of them. You want to force your content in front of their eyeballs as much as you possibly can, while also forcing your way into their inbox. Cold call if you have to, I don't care, into their DMs. You will scale this thing. I'm actually probably going to be doing this potentially with someone here very, very soon. Idea 2, fractional CMO services. Marketing is the biggest bottleneck for most 6 to 7 figure founders. They need strategy, not another freelancer. Okay, so my offer would be like help businesses
Let's
plan,
take a closer look.
execute, and
Right, let's
manage
have a
ad
look.
spend to get an X amount of certain customers or an X amount of appointments on the calendar. So we will scale your business to an extra 15 to 20 leads with a couple grand in ad spend guaranteed. Something like that. I would do $2.5 to $5 grand a month. I would go for e-commerce brands, course creators, or just consultants, or funded startups only. So B2B services, B2B SaaS, something like that. I would work with 2 to 3 clients minimum, hit that 10 grand a month, and then start to slowly hire some junior marketers, some contractors to just manage some of the workload, turn your kind of boutique CMO agency with tiered retainers, right? You could 100% do this, and then eventually you could add group training or a back-end offer on a performance basis. I know so many brand scalers who do this where they take a percentage of ad spend, that's when they make a killing. How to get clients? This is, again, simple, cold email, and or look for companies already hiring marketing managers. This is a hack. I made so much money by going on Indeed, going on Monster, going on LinkedIn Jobs, and searching up people that were hiring for marketing managers, and this would easily be ranked, guaranteed. You can pitch to companies directly with personalized loop audits as well on the marketing spend, do a marketing teardown on content, so 100% post-market teardown on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., build out their whole funnel and show them how it's done. That's how I would do this. Number 3 is a sales system architect, if you will, or consultant. Most B2B businesses, they don't have a system. They rely on like the most random follow-up and cold leads, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. You can build that machine for them. So build their sales funnels, their automations, their email flows, call scheduling systems, lead follow-ups, everything. And optionality, you can actually even add like a fractional sales manager part to this. So hiring, training, CRM management, like this is where huge money is made. I know a ton of fractional sales managers that make an absolute killing, charging 7 to 10 grand a month plus bonuses on whatever the reps that they're managing bring in on their own commissions, right? So at minimum, you could do a 2K in retainer and then scale that way. I guess the path here for scale is product as an offer, so B2B sales systems in a box for a flat fee, something like that, right? Build your own ops team to implement these systems, and then I would add a back-end rev share or literal performance bonus, like I said, tied to the results that you bring in. This would get huge. The how to get clients piece, again, cold email, you don't have enough money for ads just yet. I would target agencies, SaaS, and consultants once again, because these guys have no back end. The more leads that they have, the better. I would post on YouTube and LinkedIn, because that's where these two people are going to be. Funnel makeovers, tear down content of, hey, your sales system is broken. Here's how to fix it. Show exactly what you do, whether it's a mock demo or a real customer of yours. Work for free if you have to get the first few, and then just bundle your value. Show how you can close the loop from lead to close, click to close. Show that exact same process.
Look at this bonus. Man, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Can you see that? Now, that's what I call a bonus.
Idea 4 is a content agency with the idea that it's always a lead gen agency on the back end. Most content agencies focus on hey, we'll make you look really nice on socials. You want to focus on leads. Why are people posting content in the first place? It's to become an authority figure. It's to get more sales and get more leads in their pipeline. That's the whole point of this content thing, right? So yours would be niche content agency, as if you will, with production that's tied to lead gen goals. So it doesn't matter if that comes from short form, carousels, LinkedIn posts, long form, it doesn't matter. But you've really got to focus on your call to actions, integrating into their CRM, and serious lead magnets here. So I would work with business owners for sure, B2B business owners only. I would start with 1 to 2, charge 2 to 3K a month each, and then eventually once you scale, you can hire a content producer, a strategist, a scriptwriter, all that kind of stuff. Some of this stuff can even be done with AI. You can build vertical packages, so it's like content for tax pros, or content for growth SaaS marketers, or content for XYZ. Eamon Arab does this. He absolutely crushes it. Check out his channel. He's insane at doing this at a very large scale. And you can automate some of this stuff too. You don't have to do this all by hand. How to get clients? Post your own content documenting results, right? This is genius. This is what Eamon does. Offer free content audits or content makeovers. Partner with media buyers or sales consultants for referrals, right? These people probably know people that need serious help with their content, right? So that's how I would do it. I would go on the back end of up and coming, content creators, specifically YouTube. I would hound that thing every single day, looking for creators that have low but very high niche content that's a good thing. If just one of their viewers turns into a buyer or a sale for them, that's huge. And you could develop a whole info product on the back end with them if you really, really wanted to. Idea number 5 is a ghostwriting agency. Everyone wants to sound smart online. No one has the time or the voice or just the wherewithal to actually do this. That's where you come in. So it's a done-for-you complete offer on ghostwriting, specifically LinkedIn. You can do Twitter, email newsletters. People want to get their words out there. And you can even turn these into YouTube videos. This is why I back-to-back these, because content agency kind of goes hand-in-hand with ghostwriting and vice versa. You can start both of these at the same and just see which one sticks. I would go to tech founders, coaches, VCs, so venture capitalists or consultants. These are people that are very, very high level people. They're smart already. They can give you a ton of ideas, but you can help them ideate as well. You're going to be finding them on LinkedIn. So again, you could charge $1.5 to $3K a month per client for a set amount of deliverables. That would be my offer. Is like, hey, we will grow you to 5,000 followers in a 6-month time period by writing X amount of posts per month. That would be the offer. It's very quantifiable for them in their head. The scale path here, build a bench of writers trained in tone and style replication. Use Claude. Claude can help you out a ton here by mirroring their voice, digesting the posts that they already have, doing like a 1-hour call with them per month, and just really extracting everything in their brain, and then spinning up hundreds of posts, dozens of posts into them if you really wanted to. From there, I would again offer back-end analytics services or audience building services with, growth and DM engagement services where you can have them build an info product. That would be huge, right? These are massive ideas that you can scale and become almost like their growth partner, their growth ops guy on the back end, almost like a mini coach.
Slow down now.
How would I get clients? I would ghostwrite for 1 to 2 founders for free, completely, get their case studies, and then showcase that portfolio. So if you need to blur names or whatever, you could, but I would post these on YouTube, I would post these on LinkedIn, I would show that you're literally, the one writing for them, and get a testimonial to say, hey, before working with, my name, I was really struggling, really, having a hard time getting leads. After working with him, he got me 3 new clients through my writing, inbound, because of LinkedIn. He got me 3 new clients on Twitter, X, Y, and Z, right? So, again, to summarize, what are the ideas? AI implementation consultants. Baked in demand. Everyone and their mother wants to know how the hell to implement AI into their businesses. You could honestly target anyone under the sun right now, and they would probably need help with this. Learn automations, learn zaps, all that kind of stuff. Number 2, fractional CMO services. Everyone wants to spend money. Everyone needs leads and new customers. That's where marketing comes in. Meta, Google is not going anywhere. These are the best platforms to spend on right now. You can get a percentage of the huge ad budgets that they've already got going on, plus a retainer. Number 3, sales system architect. Everyone's sales process is broken. People really need help with the lead follow-up, with appointment setters, with closers. You could be that whole back-end structure for them, show them absolutely everything, and just teach them essentially how to sell better, more efficiently. Number 4, content and lead gen agency. If I was doing anything, I'd be starting a content agency right now. This is literally content you're watching currently, which is literal YouTube. I'm getting leads through this. You could show other creators in any type of niche how to do this exact same thing to get them more leads for their business. And then number 5, ghostwriting agency. People want to sound smart. People want to build authority and followings. Ghostwriting is the easy way to do this, where they don't even know that it's you behind the brand writing for them on the back end.
Red flag.
And then it's on scale from there. So, again, I know this was a long video, but as always, if you made it this far, I want to see you in. Comment below if you will start any of these. Please, I would love to hear and I would love to know. I'm genuinely curious. And as always, too, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I want to hear another idea if you have them, or whatever else you're working on. And
all drivers have taken their positions again. Once more, they're ready to race. And it's lights out, and away we go.
We have overtake available.
Yeah.
Som slår i. För vem som grusas ibland blir.
We need to do the full management on this set. Confirm.
Imagine you're having a meeting. Pay attention to the tone of the investigators, as at times it will feel as if she was attempting to minimize the investigation into jailing and why they are talking in the first place.
So,
some allegations that we have to obviously look into. We're law enforcement officers, so we know that we look into everything equally. I want to make sure, though, before we get started, that you're aware that this is a voluntary interview, and so I just want to make sure that you're aware of
Still margin to push a bit harder through turn 6 and turn 12.
This is one of those forms that they give everybody, so it doesn't really fit, so if I just have to cross out as I'm going along. Okay. So it says, thank you for coming voluntarily to, and then we'll go ahead and just put the admin office. Okay. Right? Oh, and of course, you know about body worn. So, yeah, this is my body worn, of course, and audio and video records everything, and there's also an audio recorder here just in case. Okay. Central Jail. To share your side of the story with us, of course, in regards to the report that we're investigating. You're not under arrest and you are not being detained. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'll have you go ahead and write it in. And you can initial or say yes. Yeah. And if you would just go ahead and read it.
Yeah, that's what we can do.
And then just sign right there under your name. Is that the correct spelling of your name?
Yes, it is.
So we've got VSC, VSC. Just keep an eye on that delta.
So, just for record's sake, I'm going to go ahead and read what you did initial. So you understand that you're not under arrest and you are not being detained. You understand that you're free to leave at any time. There will not be any locked doors keeping anyone from leaving us. You notice the room doesn't have limit hold.
VSC ending.
You can choose what questions you want to answer. And you can choose to leave or let us know, and we will assist you with yes. Although you're probably going to be
happy to drop lift the coach.
Okay. Within the first 2 minutes, the lead interviewer has done a variety of very interesting things to ingratiate herself with Jalen. First, she minimized the reason he is being spoken to in the first place, saying it was more or less a formality, that she has to speak with him in order to sign some paperwork and get on her way. The implication is that whatever they will be discussing is a relative non-issue, alluding to the idea that she knows he's a good cop and whatever the investigation is about isn't true. She then positions him in a place of authority over her as well, stating she has never been to this facility and that she will likely need his help navigating the area. And throughout her time speaking with him, she has kept a light and friendly tone. Her tone alone would put him in a relative state of ease, because if you were being confronted over a serious matter, one that could result in prison time, you wouldn't expect someone in charge of said investigation to be nonchalant with you. However, based on Jalen's consistent posture, as well as his facial expressions, this tactic isn't working, most likely because Jalen knows that the only reason he would be under investigation is because of his communications with minors.
So you understand, like, if you, as far as like leaving, you have access points and you know how to leave.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, very cool. So I know that I have a lot to delve into, but I really want to get to know you first, if you don't mind. Okay. So I'm going to lean back and get comfortable.
You need to keep your K1 usage down a bit, otherwise you'll just run out of battery, and then you'll just be taken by everybody.
The duty bug is pretty annoying pretty quickly, so if you want to take it off at any point.
Okay, that's the flag.
So, of course, I've done my research and investigations and everything, so I've learned a little bit about you, but I'd like to learn.
What up, boys and girls?
That's okay.
Cheers. Good job.
Found that you went to Santana High School?
I did, yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing?
Yeah, so, grew up Santana High School, played sports, football, baseball, went to Grossmont College for a little bit, played baseball there. And I got a job here. Worked at Dick's Sporting Goods before this, so this is my second job. Started working with this department for coming up on 5 years now.
So baseball seemed pretty important to you back in high school. What position?
Pitcher.
Cool. How's your arm holding up?
I mean, soreness every once in a while, but I haven't thrown for a while. So.
Yeah, no, it still kills me. I play softball. Short, center, and pitcher.
Here in San Diego?
Yeah, down Hilltop Indian Valley kind of area.
As mentioned before, this type of data gathering is meant to establish a friendly connection. She doesn't care that he is a pitcher. She doesn't care how his arm is holding up. She doesn't actually want to know any more about his life. She wants to find some common ground between them. That way he begins to trust her.
Here we
Feels
go,
like
ladies
when
and
he is
gentlemen,
confronted by
with
the
the
other
Italian
officer,
Grand
she is
Prix.
more or less on his side.
Welcome to
According to the
life in the
CIA's
fast lane.
human resource exploitation, her current goal is to establish rapport. As a lack of rapport may cause Jalen to withhold any information that he would have otherwise provided freely.
But I know, like, back when, I don't know if it's the same for you, they had no idea, like, what icing and massaging.
Now it's time.
Yeah, so.
I did not, so I'm paying the price for it. Yes, and so I know I'm paying for it still. But so, did you ever play any other sports in high school?
High school, no, just football and baseball.
Football, baseball.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else in school that you enjoyed doing?
Hanging out with friends, just typical high school stuff. Right? It's pretty sheltered at home and all, so I don't really get out much, but yeah, just the sports and stuff.
Okay, how come music?
Keeping me squared away, keeping me in line.
Very cool. And have you always worked in corrections?
Yeah, I attempted to go out to patrol to the academy. Things didn't work out there, so getting back here.
Did you have fun at the academy while you were
Oh
there?
yeah, I enjoy it. It's good. I mean, come on, and stuff like that. So.
Married? How many kids?
Oh yeah, married. Recently got married this last year in September. We have a kid due on wet in August.
Oh, okay. Boy, girl?
Boy.
Very nice. Unfortunately. Yeah. Were you, like, hoping for
Oh, no, I said looking forward to it.
Oh, looking forward. I thought you said unfortunately.
No, I'm excited.
Okay, that's cool. And your wife, how long have you known her?
Actually, preschool.
Radio check.
We met at preschool, went separate ways.
Good for me too.
Met her back in high school. Things like I was trying to date her, but she was playing it hard to get again. College came around, trying to get in. I actually ran into her in PV about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we reconnected then. Got married, had a family, bought a house.
It's nice, your stories that go that far back. So you guys got married just last year, already expecting a baby number 1. Are you still living in Santee?
Lap time looks pretty competitive at the moment.
Right across from West Hills.
Mode in.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna have your kid go to West Hills?
Probably, yeah, over Santee.
Are they viral? Are they rivals?
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. Yeah, it's gonna be hard combating, everybody else and doing that. So do you do anything else as far as for fun? Do you do sports still?
Do softball with the guys here at work and stuff like that. And mountain bike once in a while.
How about video games, computers, anything like that?
Yeah, I'll play video games every once in a while and stuff like that. Not too often when I stop playing video games.
Cool. And I hear your schedule recently changed. How do you feel about scheduling?
7, 12 and a half in a row. Kills you. 7 off is nice, but it flies by, so.
Yeah, and then the 7 drag once you're here. So at least you're on your last day today, right? We communicated with everyone like, hey, when does he work? Thank you for meeting with us here. Yeah. We obviously, given COVID, there's not a lot of places you can meet up with people right now. That's one comfortable because enough space and makes you feel like that you're not at your home or randomly out in the middle of nowhere. So I know RPD is like refusing to let anybody in the doors, so I can understand. How about social media? Are you active on social media?
The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance are absolutely buzzing with excitement. Here we are at the oldest circuit in
This self-admission on Jalen's part is an attempt to subtly deny any wrongdoing on his part, as he is now aware of the fact that this investigation is entirely about him grooming minors over Snapchat. He was just asked a very open-ended question of what social media he currently has, and he admits to being on Facebook and Instagram. He then goes on to say he used to have a Snapchat, but no longer does, which wasn't asked. He only brings it up to divert responsibility away from himself by saying he used to have an account, but got rid of it after marrying his wife. It would imply that whatever activity happened on his old account wasn't actually done by him, and that if an account that had his name, ID, and information on it was used in the commission of a crime, it wasn't him that did it. Given his age, it's also likely that he previously had a MySpace and other social media apps that he no longer uses, but he brings up Snapchat himself in an attempt to begin to distance himself from it.
Can you tell me about that, or?
It was with another recruit chat, but...
Okay. So you're communicating with another recruit?
I was back then. I stopped. I think I cut off.
got rid of. I mean, I didn't delete the Snapchat. I just got delete the app. So I haven't used it like 2 years and a half now.
I didn't delete the Snapchat. I just deleted the app. Again, he is trying to indicate, ever so subtly, that whatever occurred on his account, should anything have occurred on that account, was not done by him. However, if he had no idea his account was being used to talk to minors, he'd likely want to know why it matters what social media he uses and why they care about that.
So on Facebook, just because I like to jot down everybody's social media when I can, what's your Facebook login? Like your username?
It's just like James there.
It's your name?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you said Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay. What's your Instagram username? And then you said you got rid of Snapchat, but when you did have it, what was it?
Just Jalen's there.
Okay. So the one that you had there, has that account since been deleted or just deactivated?
Just delete the app. It's still there.
Okay. And I know when it comes to Facebook, you connected to an email address.
Watch
Do you know
the
what
debris
email
on the
address is
circuit.
connected to it? And then your Instagram account with the same email?
I think so.
And I know sometimes with Snapchat, they'll have you either sign up with a phone number or an email.
I believe it's my phone number.
Okay, very cool. So, I don't know, do you have any questions for me before we kind of...
I will ask what this is about.
Yeah, so we're looking into some allegations that were made. We're kind of, it started with a crime struggle report, so we're just kind of going from there. We did receive a picture that, you know, when we looked into it, it looks similar to you, so I don't know if you can take a look at the picture and just tell me if you've seen this picture. I have like 15 million things here. Okay.
And yep, it's the Haas that's affected
yeah, that's
there.
definitely the gross one.
Okay, so this picture right here, how old were you when it was taken?
Safety car, safety car.
20?
Charge.
Have you ever used this picture on
Stay
any
as
social
close as you
media
can to 0 on the Delta.
I think it was Snapchat back in the day.
Okay.
Do whatever you need.
Have you ever
tires.
shared this picture with anybody on Snapchat?
Yeah, probably my wife, to be honest.
Billy.
I mean, obviously I talked to other girls back in the day too, but
You are P10.
I can't remember.
Okay. If you had to guesstimate how many times you may have shared the photo, how many times?
That one, maybe just a couple times, once or twice.
Okay, so definitely.
He's 0.5 behind.
Okay, so you used that photo for your wife, and you were about 20 years old in the photo. You did share it on Snapchat, and then maybe some other girls you were talking to?
I mean, yeah, this was a long time ago, so I don't really remember who it was.
Okay. Have you ever posted it as like a profile photo?
Yeah, go for it.
No, that one.
Ever posted on Instagram?
Safety car in this
Are
lap.
your accounts, is your Instagram and your Facebook, are they
Just
private?
focus on getting these
And I
tyres
know Snapchat
where you
is
need
all
them for this
private,
restart.
and you have to add somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't just, you can't just be anyone. So that one's at least a little bit better where it's like, you have to search for somebody, right? Okay, so you in the photo, and is that a gross font? Is that gross font?
Yeah, it's gross font.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. So as far as like the picture, so this photo came up in connection with some allegations about you communicating with a younger female on Snapchat.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever communicated with any females that we've already recognized that yes you have with your recruit from the past? Is there